Hey guys, so I wanted to come and do this while I still had it on me. I have been trying to find so many like different out plugs and different ways to make this better, but I'll have to work on the audio. So I am currently taking down my hair because obviously I cannot wear this in uniform. There were so many pins in my hair that like when I was going through TSA, like it was beeping and they were like checking me, and I was like, I promise you y'all, it's the bobby pins. I don't have a bomb in my hair. Like, come on, you know what I mean? But I wanted to come and talk to you guys because I had the opportunity to go to the Black Women in Media, Black Girls in Media. Let me move this stuff on our background. This past weekend is Black Girls in Media, and truly what an experience. And I'll continue taking this down as I do this. A lot of you guys don't know me personally, but I'm in the military. I've been in the Air Force for 13 years and I have 7 years left. So in full transparency, I have been doing a job that is more hospitality, culinary, fitness, readiness driven. And obviously who I am in my real life is more communication, media, marketing driven. So of course I've tried to cross train into a job that is more suited, but I'm finding myself in the position now where it's like I have 7 years left and I don't have a resume that speaks for itself outside of my career. So I wanted to start building my career or my resume for the career that I want. When I retire, I came in at 17, I'll be done at 37. And in the media and entertainment world, 37 is like ancient. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like I have the luxury of waiting. I feel like I did in my whole 20s. I published the books, I've done the podcast, interviews and things of that nature to just make sure that I'm always tapped in with the things that I'm passionate about. But in terms of turning this into a career in a real way, I felt that now is the appropriate time for me to start networking in a real way, which is what drove me to the Black Girls in Media conference. It's also worth noting that in the military, you have your different levels of achievements, accomplishments, in rank and awards and all of these things. But it's something that ends, you know what I'm saying? Like 20 years, if you want, you're done. It sounds like a long time. It does fly by. Some of it is actually, 1 year could feel like 5, but 5 years could feel like that. And especially, when you go up closer to that 1%, that chief, things become less about what you want for yourself and more about what the military wants for you. So you'll find yourself in North Dakota when you have 2 years left. And how does that help me when I'm trying to start establishing some roots for where I want to be when this is done? It doesn't. Even, some people, they'll make, let's say, chief, at 19 years, and that's a commitment to even put on the rank, you know what I'm saying, for your high 3 retirement. And so it's like, they're going to get their money's worth for sure. They're going to get their money's worth. But for me, and it's so funny how this worked out because I would say probably about the first 5 years of my career, I felt like I had to take alternative routes. I did not have a golden career. I will say most of the things I was in my own way about. But I learned very quickly that people were not going to advocate for me the way that I would advocate for myself, and that if I did have a mentor, they needed to be aligned with me on a personal level as well. The blueprint for a life, if there is even one, and the blueprint for being in the military are two different things. And if you have somebody that's a little too go blue, they won't understand that I'm not necessarily as passionate about Meals on Wheels. You know what I mean? I'm here to do things that align with who I am as a person, as Lauren, so that when this is all said and done, I feel like I stay true to myself. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I did a career worth doing. And some people can get lost in the sauce. And so just as I do my time, make it sound like a bid, but as I do my time, I've always been cognizant of, hey, is this aligning with who I want to be? Luckily, I feel like my growth has sometimes correlated with my rank. I feel like I always make it to certain spaces where I'm a little bit more patient, I'm a little bit more strategic, I'm a little bit more whatever, and then I put on a certain rank, and it helps me that much more to wear that rank. But I can truly say I've always been passionate about the media world with the concentration in entertainment. It is what I am drawn to. I am a naturally good writer, and that's not subjective or self-proclaimed. People come to me to write things for them, to edit things for them, to articulate things for them. That is something that I have recognized and accepted as a God-given talent. I'm also good at speaking to people, speaking in front of people. Also, something that I recognize and I accept and I love, So it's like, let's take these things. My degree is in communications. I've tried to continuously do the things credential wise because I'm not doing that in my day to day life. And although, you think of like Hormel or you think of these other brands, General Mills, that I'm sure have marketing, and you could, I don't have the passion for food in that way. The job that I have now is more from a business standpoint of food, which I love. I can tap into that 1,000,000%. But I don't care that, the chicken in California is $3 more than the chicken in Utah. And that's just the honest truth. So I felt like, you know what? I have 7 years left. I have 7 years to make something shake. 7 years to get my name out there. 7 years to meet the right people, align myself appropriately, and rise to something that's real. And one thing they said that was so key to me at the Black Girls in Media Conference is like, you never know what your dreams are tied to. So you can sit here and play around and act like your life doesn't have a purpose on it. But I just imagine myself not doing the things and how many more people didn't get their things or it was so much harder for them to get their things because I didn't do my thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel that we're on this earth for us. I feel like we're on this earth for each other, for other people. And in this journey, and I actually, you know what, I've always said this because I think about Quinta Brunson and how she did Abbott, you know what I'm saying? And how Shirley Ralph didn't win until Quinta Brunson from Urkel and them all the way till Abbott did not win an award. That's a big chunk of her career. But imagine if Quinta never came along and did Abbott. Imagine if she didn't leave Black Lady Sketch Show and what was Quinta a part of? And she would do these cute videos. I can't remember it right now, but she was doing that. Imagine she kept that and never did Abbott. And how many people are tied to her vision, her dream, and her reality at Abbott, And I'm not comparing myself to Quinta at all, but I do believe everybody has a role here. And so the military has been extremely resourceful for me. It has saved my life at times. And so I'm forever grateful, forever, ever grateful. But I know that this has an end date. And when that end date comes, I know who I am. I know who I want to be. And I'm starting that journey now, which started with Black Girls in Media. So I saw this a year or so ago and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And, they have a membership. It's like $200 something a year, but you get access to private events, you get job opportunities. They have stuff like this conference where you have like media mavens and people in real spaces that come here and you can network with them, connect with them. They have office hours, one-on-ones. After they finish doing their panel, you can go up and speak to them. It's more than just, taking a quick flick. And for me personally, I had a goal. I'm supposed to be taking my hair out. For me personally, I had a goal. I wanted 3 contacts by the time I left. I wanted somebody that was kind of entry level like me, somebody that was starting to get some real traction and a little mixy, and I wanted somebody who was like an OG of sorts. And I feel like I accomplished all of those. If I had to say I wanted to emulate a particular career or a space or something where I'm like, I want to do that, is Sydney. Wow. It just, she got up on the stage, no code switching, no what. And honestly, and it's so crazy, I wasn't even familiar with her before this. And she's worked with Forbes, she's worked with Complex, The Source, like all these different things, and I had never seen her. And that to me is what these spaces are about seeing people do the thing that you are passionate about and seeing it in real time. Like, oh, this is possible. This is a thing. And I guess for me, it's kind of like I think about when I put out Surprise and The Look Within. I wrote those, I edited those, I created the books, the covers on Canva, I marketed those. But in the words of Amanda Seals, you're not a thing until you get paid to be a thing. And I've never, even though people bought the books, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's paying me to edit. Nobody's paying me to write. Nobody's paying me to market in that capacity. So when it comes to building a resume, to wanting to work for these companies, that is what I'm after now. And even with the podcasting, people think like, I've been hearing more and more people like the talking part is the easiest part. The flow of discussion, the linking up with the person, getting on the schedule and actually meeting up. And then afterwards, the editing, the clips, the marketing, everything that goes into that for you to have an hour and some change of content is actually insane. But just learning in different ways of outsourcing. I had an editor for a while, but it was audio only. And that's cool and great, but I wanted to do something visual. You know what I'm saying? I love like Shits and Gigs. When I came across them, those clips were it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's one thing that I can say they did so right. You see a Shits and Gigs clip and you're like, oh, wow. And it hooks you in, you know what I'm saying? So me wanting to do podcasting in a real way, me wanting to do interviews in a real way, and me wanting to show those capabilities so that if a Complex or even a Revolt, hands up, wanted to see my work, it's right there in your face. Everything that I can bring and offer to you is right there. And that was the other thing that Sydney said. She was like, you want 3 things that you can add that you're like the expert at. In the military, we call them SMEs. But you want 3 things where you're like, I do this. And I think hers were like fashion, entertainment, and business. And so I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and build that up, my skill set up, show work of said things. And by that, it's like, I want to be in the mix. I want to say I have interviewed a said person. I have worked in this capacity. I have worked with even said people, alignment. I want to start doing those things. And so the journey to Black Girls in Media was so seamless. They had lookbooks. The marketing was amazing. They had hotels and flights that you could get deals on. And the hotel stayed at Inc. 48. Phenomenal. Such a nice room right down the street from the venue. Everything walkable. Same thing with the flight, but I already have all my stuff through Delta anyway, so that was great. It was just that much better. Even just down to the mixer, the VIP mixer, coming in on that Friday, getting to see all the ladies in a more relaxed environment, networking, chatting it up, to the actual event on Saturday, and just being able to hear so many different backgrounds, walks of life. It was everything, and I feel like I'm like moonlighting as that. Like I'm going to work obviously tomorrow, but when the weekend comes, I'm like, in New York or LA or whatever. That is what I see for myself. So I had a great time. Just an amazing event, amazing ladies. And of course I will wrap this up with the remember the time, because I've been trying to be consistent. Kitty Cat. So Kitty Cat, I can't remember exactly how old I was when Kitty Cat came out, but I just remember the prowess in me was like, yeah, take that Kitty Cat and go. He don't want it no more. We out of here, And I think just, I'm from the South. I'm from South Carolina. Very Bible Belt, very religious, very something else. And a lot of times growing up, your sexuality as a woman is honest, is kind of muted, because no sex before marriage, honor yourself, your virtue as a woman, and da 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 da. But then women won't take the time to get to know themselves sexually. I know women, no kidding, in their 40s who have never had an orgasm with a man outside of a vibrator. I wanted to cry, because I do believe in sexuality. I believe in freedom of sexuality. whether it's freedom of expression and as it relates to femininity. And I feel like Beyonce, Kitty Cat, when I listen to that, I think about just really knowing your worth and really not necessarily resting on your sex as that, you know what I'm saying? But if you've ever been able to like harness that, it's really, it's top tier, it's peak. And the dance with the femininity and the masculinity, like if you ever just are in the presence of a man, a masculine man, and how that brings out your femininity, wow. Even I remember just, you know, when I remember I was having sex for a while before I was enjoying sex, and it's just like, oh wow, that's disheartening as heck. But yeah, when I think of kitty cat, I think of like you know what you got, and we gonna pack this up and we gonna head on out if it's not being appreciated. And I think that that's so important because I, for one, can say I did not get any type of real lectures on the boundaries that you have to set with men. And to a certain extent, I struggle with that to this day. In just, I'm quick to tell you how I feel. Maybe you gonna hear how I feel. But I might not always stand on that, or I can be swayed a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And I respect them girlies that's like, first time, you're out of here. You're canceled, you're done. I'm like, wow, that's so strict. What about all the 55 other chances? Like, no, we're not doing that. No, we're not. You know what I'm saying? Those women, I see them, they get respected. They get taken seriously. And not that I don't, it's just, I wish it's something that I would have been able to grasp and to harness a lot sooner. And so, yeah, when I hear kitty cat, I'm like, yeah, girl, pack that shit up and let's go. Because if one thing I do know, one thing for sure, two things for certain, men spin the block. If for nothing else, to see if they have access to you, but they will spin the block. Let their ass go, and you move on as well. That's, oh my God, and that's the other thing. I remember I used to struggle so bad with, I would be like, I'm not taking this anymore. I'm out of here. But with the expectation that they would be like, no, Lauren, please don't go. Whatever will I do without you? And when they would be like, all right, bye, I would be like, I can't breathe, bitch. like you were supposed to, maybe you didn't hear me. I said I was gonna leave. Okay. And they're like, yeah, bye. Like, so that was tragic. Like, really, when you leave a situation and you stand permanent, not being tied to the outcome, whether they're like, hey, all right, cool, or they're like, no, don't go, which is what you hope for, which is what you hope for. Really learning to be okay with that and moving on. And, you know, if it comes back around, maybe still not even entertaining it, but it's just such this dance, you know what I'm saying? I remember being so tired of being firm and hard, and I was soft and I was taken advantage of. And then, you know, you're super, I don't know. It's just this weird dance with men. You know, I'm married now, so, but even still, we still have, you know, some of that femininity and masculine, like, dance stuff. So that's interesting. But yeah, when I think of kitty cat, I think of that good and the power of it and harnessing it in such a way that it's a loss should you decide to go, and not just a loss in the means of they don't have access to your sex anymore, but the energy that you bring behind what you got going on. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my remember the time. You know, and I think that particular version was at Coachella, which I went in 2018 by myself, child. Like, I literally flew into Vegas and then drove in to India from there. And y'all, I remember I went with myself. If you've ever been at a festival in general, they will in particular, Coachella has an app, and they'll be like, hey, they'll send you like 15-minute reminders. Coachella's like 40 acres of land. 15 minutes is not enough for me to get 5 acres over to that stage to see, you know, whomever. And especially as you get towards like the end of the night, that's when you have your heavy hitters like Beyonce or like Janet Jackson, you know. But in this particular instance, everybody was moving over to that Beyonce stage because everybody wanted to see her perform, and it was worth every minute of it. Beyonce's command of an audience, a command of an energy. Like when I experience Beyonce perform, I get, it's an experience. I get goosebumps. I get emotional. I'm proud. I'm all the things, you know what I'm saying? She's just such a great performer. So that version of Kitty Cat reminds me of that. And yeah, so that's that for the week. I'm going to continue to take down, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna continue to take this down, child, because Lord knows I can't wear this on my head to work tomorrow. We got new leadership in and they mean business. So I will catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Vault Combos, and on TikTok, it's Low LEAUXX. I think like 834. Try both of them. Let me know. But I love you guys, and I was happy for this story time. Bye.